I guess we can finally take a breath. Or can we? If you really think about it, 70 million people voted for Trump. 70 million people who are racist, responsible for the oppression of others, spreaded the virus all over the place. And I mean, if you really think about it, are just kind of plain gross. And honestly, you should never engage with anyone that voted for Trump or is even Republican for that matter. It's time that we take names and that we remember who these people are. And I'm gonna give you the first name. I'm gonna give you my name, Mercedes Rivera. Google it if you need me to spell it out for you. Meidy. If you found yourself nodding in agreement while I was saying that, I mean, it's kind of sad. But if you think about it, this sentiment has been bubbling up since probably 2008, and it has boiled over in the last 4 years. And I just wonder, is this really a mentality that ever wanted unity and truly desires unity? I guess it's easy to claim the moral high ground, call for unity, and forget that you called a good chunk of Americans racist for the last 4 years when you win. And I suppose that we should all forget this for the sake of unity. And I guess maybe beg for forgiveness now because of all the wrongs that we supported over these last 4 years. But I'm gonna say a few things, and I'm gonna say the following things without any doubt whatsoever. I believe in freedom for all. I am not a racist. I am not a homophobe. I'm not a white supremacist. I'm not etc., etc. Like really, sometimes I've just lost count of what's on the list. I am not a self-hating or loathing female or Latina for that matter. By the way, Latinx is not a word. Stop using it. I have never voted against my interests because I'm an individual and my interests don't depend on my gender, my ethnicity, or my skin color. There's a lot more I could add to the list, but I'm gonna leave that for another day, and there will be another day. And if you think or have the opinion of Michelle Obama, and this is a quote, that tens of millions voted for the status quo, even when it meant supporting lies, hate, chaos, and division, you really have no idea what we were voting for. So if you want to take names, please feel free to take my name, because I will no longer be afraid of expressing myself. In fact, I'm ashamed that I didn't do it sooner. But when you think your livelihood is threatened, it's hard to speak up. However, when you feel your freedom and the freedom of others is threatened, it's a lot easier. And if you think I'm being dramatic, you clearly don't know me, because I am not a dramatic person and I am not an emotional person. Like, it's kind of weird how not emotional I am. But when I read with my own eyeballs, people saying that anyone who voted for Trump should be ostracized from society, that their livelihood should be threatened and taken away, and worse yet, that people should be prosecuted for having different opinions and different views because they supported Trump, I don't feel like I'm being dramatic. And if you think I'm being ridiculous, look at my links down below or in my article for tweets and statements from government officials, like the head of the squad, Miss AOC herself. She asked if anyone was archiving the Trump sycophants because they might be downplaying and denying their complicity in the future. I mean, don't even get me started about Robert Reich, who is a former Clinton administration he was the Clinton administration Secretary of Labor, who's calling for Truth and Reconciliation Commissions for anyone who supported or helped Trump gain office. These are dangerous ideas. And what about the Trump Accountability Project? You may think that maybe it's not that big of a deal because they're aiming towards officials or people with clout or money that help support and prop up the Trump administration. But do you really think that that mentality won't trickle down into the general public? These are dangerous, dangerous ideas. Look, Trump had a lot of faults, A lot. A lot of them that made me want to rip my hair out. But he never called to prosecute people who didn't agree with his views or with his policies. And don't even get me started on the lock her up and everything like that. That was all about actual criminal mischief, not about political opinion. But you know what? Everything will be better now because we have a real president headed to the White House. I mean, most likely. It is 2020 after all. Never mind that he's more likely than not going to be serving only one term, and that 70 million people did not vote for him. That's almost half of the US half of US voters. Trump won record minority support, the most by any Republican in years. The House GOP flipped Democratic seats, chipping away Democrats' power in the House, and a good chunk of them were women. 13 of them non-incumbent women. 11 incumbent women in the GOP in the House maintained their seat. Republicans are on their way to maintain the Senate with these two runoffs that are going on in Georgia. And FYI, I live in Georgia, so guess who I'm voting for? Also, all Republican governors won re-election. And in fact, Republicans flipped Montana's governor. No longer a Democrat. And finally, currently, thanks to Trump, the US has the most originalist and textualist courts at all levels, including the Supreme Court in the United States. And all of these things will keep Biden and the Democratic agenda in check. Oh, and I almost forgot, because of all the excellent policies that have come from Democratic states like California and New York, there's been a mass exodus to states like Florida and Texas during a census year, which means during a redistricting year, which means they'll probably end up losing seats. But here's a controversial statement. America is a great country. I love this country, warts and all. And believe me, I am fully aware of all of the warts. And because of this, I'm going to respect the presidency, as I always have. I'm gonna disagree with Biden a lot, like a lot. But once every last vote has been counted and all the challenges have resolved and Biden is president of the United States, he's my president. I'm not gonna go around screaming, he's not my president. I'm not gonna try and create some narrative to diminish his position as my president. I will not unfriend or cut off a single person who did not agree with me, and I will not archive their names for the future. I will not demonize them, and I will never stand for anyone's livelihood to be threatened just because they disagree with me. Everybody has a right to their opinion, and we can find common ground on other topics. I mean, hell, everybody loves a puppy. But if you still just can't, that's fine. You have my name. Feel free to add it to the list. Feel free to block me. It's okay. I won't hold it against you. But please do me one favor. Do it for all Americans. Keep calling 70+ Americans racist. Keep yelling at the top of your lungs how you're ashamed of America. Continue to cancel people that you don't agree with. Oh, my favorite. Please tell everybody how we need to defund the police. Take names, collect all the names, and judge people by what group they belong to and not as individuals. Because as you can tell from the big blue wave, the strategy has really worked. So celebrate, you earned it, congratulations, and you'll be hearing more from me. See you in 2022 and 2024.